Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I know coming off the Xiaopin Z1 review, I spoke very highly of the X-Ray Pad Equate Plus V2. This right now, I'm going to come out and say is my favorite hybrid pad release of 2023, probably one of my favorite hybrid pads of all time. And the reason why I love this pad so much is that the initial friction, so to get your mouse starting to move, happens to be pretty low. And once you get your mouse moving, it just has this perfect level of balance that never feels too slow, never feels too fast. And to me, just provides a really nice playing surface that you can adjust your sensitivity on and get a beautiful level of what I would refer to as a perfect level of balance. I think that anybody who prefers an Aqua Control 2, anybody who likes a hybrid surface like the Hien, the Pat Smith First War, the Locust Curai, this pad is absolutely phenomenal, and I think a lot of people are going to love it. The pad does have a nice level of cushioning. It does give way just a little bit, 4 millimeters thick with really nice stitching. And in my climate, it gets very hot in my room, especially if my smart thermostat ever turns off by itself. And I can say that sweat, humidity have not affected this pad. To me, transitioning from small mice like the Lamzu Atlantis Mini with the default Atlantis Mini skates to a heavier mouse like the Logitech G303 that's quite a bit wider and bigger with even default skates and a heavier weight. Just every mouse that I throw on this pad feels absolutely phenomenal, and I personally believe is one of my best performing pads for me personally. I love it, and I think it just provides a really, really nice level of consistency on a wide array of shapes, sizes, weights, and different skates that a lot of people are going to enjoy. The thing I like about this pad also is it seems as though a lot of companies are just misadvertising a lot to do with mouse pads. When you go to the X-Ray Pad site, you can see it comes in different sizes, comes in different colors, and they advertise it as a quick start, fast and effortless glide. And that is definitely how I would refer to this. To get the mouse to start moving is fast and effortless. And then once you are playing, it just has this beautiful, smooth glide that remains balanced and consistent. The weave itself, they refer to as a silver wire hybrid that is supposed to provide this smoother glide. Supposedly a combination of slightly rough surfaces and silver wire hybrid weaving. To me, again, it just feels smooth, balanced, effortless startup. I think it is very well advertised. I think that the size and color options are great. And again, one of my best performing pads right now. You guys know that Nacho and I have a collab coming out with Pulsar on the glass surface, the Superglide. This is the type of surface that I really enjoy using when I am playing consistently. When I'm putting hours into a game every day, I am able to play at my top level on a glass pad like the Superglide. Because recently I have been inconsistent, I noticed that with that inconsistency on glass pads, I play a little bit too wiggly. Sometimes I overshoot either in micro movements or just in general with fast tracking. With the Equate Plus V2 and myself not having enough hours to put into a particular title, I can jump onto this pad and I don't feel like I have that inconsistency. I'm able to play very well on this pad from my first hour to my last hour. And I think that's just because, again, with that low initial friction, the pad feels very open and free and just fun to use. And then with that low dynamic friction, it just feels very well balanced. But if you ever do need to come to a complete and abrupt stop, it is very easy to do so, and the pad doesn't feel wiggly, kind of like the Atsu or the Razer Strider Ken, which are two other hybrid surfaces. I don't have that issue on this pad. I don't have an issue with my mouse sinking into the pad unwillingly. If I want to consciously dig in and get a little bit of extra push, you can certainly do so, but it's not like the foam of an Artisan. This is just a default typical rubber base. Certainly that cushioning, I do enjoy it, I appreciate it, but I don't find that it's something that I can really dig into for a bunch of additional control. But the pad, again, has just this beautiful openness to it, but a nice, beautiful level of balance. It's not something that you ever will feel tug or inconsistency, at least I didn't, on any sort of my glide, either diagonally, vertically, or horizontally. that tightly wound woven surface, I think, contributes to its consistency, and for me is probably the most fun pad that I have right now with the most consistency. Getting into a few quick comparisons, the Equate Plus V2 compared to an Artisan Hien Xsoft, I do feel that the Hien maybe has a little more initial friction than the Equate Plus V2. It has a little bit more dynamic friction and a little bit more static friction, so the Equate Plus V2 does feel more smooth, more open than the Artisan Hien Xsoft. Also feels a little bit faster, but really not by much on the glide. It's just the Hien has on diagonal movements, has a little bit of almost tug to it where you can kind of feel your mouse slowing down on it at certain points during the glide. The Equate Plus V2 just does not have that. Again, I don't think that makes the Equate Plus V2 this massively fast pad. It still feels balanced. It just feels more open and smoother than the Artisan Hien. Comparing it to the Artisan Atsu on my right in an Xsoft variant, again, I do feel that the pad has less initial friction than the Atsu. It has maybe a little bit more static friction, in my opinion. And then on dynamic friction, it feels like it is a little bit more on dynamic friction. So it feels a little bit slower than the Atsu. Most importantly, I feel like I get a little more control on the Equate Plus V2 compared to the Atsu. I personally think that it is a lot easier to control the glide, especially in fast tracking movements on the Equate Plus V2 in comparison to a Artisan Hayate Atsu. The pad that it is most similar to would be the Kurai, or one of the iterations of it from Locus. Very similar again to the Aqua Control type variants. But this is, again, a little bit more open feeling than the Kurai pad in the Sakura version. I feel that the initial friction feels less on the Equate Plus V2. I feel that the glide going diagonally feels a little bit smoother, a little bit more open, something that doesn't feel as slow as this pad on my right. And I do feel that static friction feels pretty close, but maybe, again, a little smoother and a little more open on the Equate Plus V2 in comparison to the Kurai pads from Locus or some of the Aqua Control variants. Pretty close, pretty similar. To me, just, again, feels a little bit smoother and more consistent on the Equate Plus V2. Close, similar, but again, just seemingly a little bit better to me on the Equate Plus V2. So that is going to be it for this one, guys. An awesome pad from X-Ray Pad. Definitely have needed a new, refreshing hybrid surface. This is definitely my favorite so far in 2023. Having a blast playing on it, and again, just playing very good and very consistent. I hope it helped. If it did, please leave a sub to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next review. Peace.